It is always a privilege and just exciting to get to see Joe Montana, the four-time Super Bowl champion, working with Guinness. And here comes the Notre Dame Fighting Irish into Chicago to play Wisconsin with former Wisconsin quarterback. That's super interesting in this game. But first off, Joe, this partnership with Guinness has been going on for a long time. Guinness, the coolest beer going. You're Joe Cool. Talk about what's going on with this game in Chicago right now.
Yeah, Guinness is out, and they're releasing a new commercial to celebrate the kickoff of the season, and also to celebrate the kickoff of their new tap room that's going to be opening up in Chicago in 2023. It's only to be the second one in the U.S., and they have partnered with Notre Dame, my old the old alma mater, and I think it's a great union between the two, and actually the three is I've been associated with both of them, so it's great to see where the commercial that's out is out there to just want to let people know that, hey, we've come a long, long way together, and good things are now out there and within our grasp, and these things are the celebrations. It's time to start celebrating, and they're doing that, starting this weekend with the Notre Dame Wisconsin game. They're up in Soldier Field this Saturday, and I think it's going to be an interesting one. This is like you said, you got an old Wisconsin quarterback playing for Notre Dame, and it's going to be a great one.
The biggest storyline here is that Brian Kelly is going to pass Nuke Rockne, which is pretty crazy. Newt, of course, tragically passed away in his 40s when he had a lot more wins. But it's just kind of amazing when you look at Brian. He's had a 4-8 season. He's had 4 seasons where he's lost, 4 games. Why do you think he's lasted as long as he has at Notre Dame?
Well, I think he's been able to win, on a pretty consistent basis. And yeah, you'll have up and down years. Everybody will. But I think his ability to bring players in, not only to play well at Notre Dame, but to go on to play into the NFL. And I think that's, early on, I think he struggled with a personality thing and fitting into Notre Dame initially. But now it's kind of settled into that job, kind of, I think, where they like to see him. And, it was his dream job to be there. And he's doing a pretty good job at keeping the Irish in the hunt. I think they'd like to see him get past that professional team in Alabama. but for the most part, I think he's been having success. And I think the other success is the guys he's bringing in are doing well also in the classroom. So, because if you can't get both of that, they won't. They've let coaches go before because they haven't been able to keep them up on the academic side of things.
Since you brought up Alabama, and a lot of people think the next level for Notre Dame, at least at some point, would be to join a conference. That conversation has been going on forever. Do you think they ever will or should?
I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but I think if they saw themselves more as a football, even though they are a football, everybody thinks of them as a football school and not more as an academic football team. They would want to join the conference because I think the conference championship games are what helps with the rankings, and they don't have that. Even if they try to add another game, it hasn't seemed to help. But Notre Dame it's one of those few college teams that has the power to not have to share, and they've done that for the longest time with revenue with anyone. And they have the ability to get their own TV contracts, and until that stops, I don't see them joining a conference.
Yeah. All right, I got a trivia question for you, Joe Montana. The San Francisco 49ers have not had a quarterback reach the Pro Bowl since. It's been a minute.
No, I see he wore number 5. I think he went to the Pro Bowl. or Steve Bono.
Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I said. Number 5.
Right. You nailed it. 2002.
Wow.
So some people think there's more pressure wearing that uniform because of guys like you and Steve Young and company wearing that uniform. Do you think there's anything to that?
I don't think so anymore. Maybe right after we both left, might I'd say yes, but you go to a game, some people don't even know who you are, which is great in a lot of ways because you can get around a little bit easier. But I think maybe many years ago it might have been that way, but I don't think today.
Wait, hold on a second. Joe Montana goes to 49ers games. It doesn't get recognized. Did I hear that right?
Sometimes, yeah.
That just doesn't seem right. We must have a very young fan base going to games right now.
I think so.
So you got Garoppolo, you got Trey Lance. You split time right when you came in, you were splitting time with Steve DeBerg. And, he would lead the Niners down the field, and then Bill Walsh say, hey, Joe, go in there and tell Steve he's out. And then Steve Young was obviously taking time from you. Can this work, 2 quarterbacks?
I think it's hard. I think it's one of those positions that's really hard you need to stay in the flow of the game. I mean, I just don't know how you do it. I mean, it seems like they're having success at it, but how long can it stay? I think it's harder on the starter than it is the guy coming in. Haven't seen it from both sides of the table because the quarterback, I mean, you don't change your center, right? Because the center, he's usually the guy that runs the show on the front line. And you can imagine what it's like if you pulled your center all the time and put in another center. And I think it's one of those, it's probably one of the only positions that, it's hard to do because you have to see things physically. Things happen after the ball snap and before the ball snap, what things look like. And it's that you just need to be there on a consistent basis. I mean, I don't know how Drew did it. Breeze, when he get down the red zone and they put the other guy in because he can run. And, here's a guy that's won Super Bowls and they're pulling him in the red zone. It's on his own. Well,
I mean, you're in the Hall of Fame. You got Super Bowl championships and all that stuff. But do you think the way you were developed helped or hurt you with that part of it?
I think it helped me. I mean, our offense was pretty difficult. There was a lot of plays when we went to the Pro Bowl with Theismann one time when we had lost to them in the championship game, and first day Bill put in 35 passes and he goes, oh, this is great. Bill put in all our pass plays in one day. I go, you're crazy. He's going to put plays until Saturday. He goes, and I go, and this is nothing. We usually get 80 on the first day. And he's going, what? I go, yeah, we have, by the end of the week, we have 120 passes in our game plan. And he goes, how do you do that? I go, it took a long time to be able to memorize the formations that go along with it because we didn't have the earpieces. So they signaled you to play and you only got to play. You didn't get the formation. So you had to memorize. And they all had at least two different formations. So it was a lot of time off the field. So I think the way I came along just allowed me to get more comfortable in the system before I really was, had to know it every time.
Let's wrap up here with your last stop, the Kansas City Chiefs. When you watch Patrick Mahomes, do you ever feel like, you know what, that's sort of the way I used to play?
That's sort of the way nobody used to play. He's pretty special. They're lucky they found himself a pretty unique one, and he's just one of those guys that when you turn on the TV, if he's on, you want to watch him. He's fun to watch, and he'd probably lay down and throw the ball on his back but he can do just about everything that you want him to do.
Talent-wise, have you ever seen anybody play the position better?
I don't think so. I mean, when you look at him from the pocket, outside the pocket, his ability to do things, whether he's running right, running left, doesn't really matter to him. And he's got a great feel of that offense, and he's playing well. They lost last week, but I still see them being more, the team to get back to the Super Bowl.
So the Chiefs defense doesn't concern Joe Montana, not overly.
Well, not when you have a scoring machine. It's sort of like, Tampa's, right? You got guys throwing, scoring 35, 40 points a game. You got to outscore them to get there. And, people have been scoring a lot of points on them, but they've just been scoring more already in Tampa. And so it's when you have the ability that offense has, it's, you just got to keep, your defense just has to keep you in the game. You can't, and they have to make a stop when they need it. But in most cases, the rules are set for the offense these days. So
yeah. Last one for real, since you brought it up, Tom Brady, Tampa. How is he still doing it at this age, Joe Montana? It's crazy, right?
You know what? I think a lot of guys still would be playing. I was surprised to see Drew step back with the rules the way they are, and not being in the protection there for the quarterback makes the game a little bit different. And I hate to use the word easier, but I'll just say easier at that level. When you know that guy who's coming right down the barrel and you have to step into it and make the throw, he can't hit you. Where before it's like, I'm going to get planted. So, and that was the difference between quarterbacks. Can I stay in? Who can stay in there, deliver the ball accurately, knowing that you're going to get 300 pounds compressing you in the ground in 2 seconds. So it's a different game for them. And health-wise, I still look back on when I retired. If it wasn't for the concussion part of it, I would have, I could have still kept
going
myself. I was playing with a good team. I look back and kick myself even at that point. But physically, I'd had enough of it, and I wanted to stay. I looked at the rest of my life and my kids and the ages they were at, and I wanted to be able to do things with them still physically. And still, unfortunately, still had 27 surgeries, but that's insane.
I was gonna say, I've heard you say that 27 surgeries.
Yeah,
there's a cost of football. Hey, Joe, it's always awesome to catch up with you. Working with Guinness in Chicago, Fighting Irish, and Wisconsin should be a great game. And yes, continued success.
Fun.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right, man. Appreciate the time. Take care, man.